Right now, 5 invisible systems are making decisions about your life. And the terrifying part? You never agreed to any of them. They control what you see, what you want, what you earn, what you trust, and even how you feel about yourself. Every single day. These aren't conspiracy theories. They are engineered systems built by some of the most powerful organizations in human history. And they are running right now. My name is Marcus. And today we are pulling back the curtain on the 5 systems that have been shaping your entire life without your consent. Let's start from the beginning. Not from today. From the moment you were born into a world that already had rules written for you. Before you could read, before you could speak, institutions had already assigned you a number, a category, a set of expectations. That is System 1, the identity architecture. A social security number. A birth certificate. A name placed in a government database. You were catalogued before you had a single memory. The identity architecture isn't just government. It's banks, credit bureaus, insurance companies. All of them quietly building a profile that will follow you until the day you die. Your credit score determines where you live. Your insurance risk score shapes what medical care you can access. These numbers were calculated by algorithms you have never seen. And you never voted for those algorithms. You never negotiated the terms. You were simply born into a world where your worth had already been converted into a 3-digit number. Think about that. The most important decisions of your financial life are being made by a system designed in the 1950s that has never met you, never spoken to you, and never will. But the identity architecture is just the foundation. What gets built on top of it is far more invasive. Let's talk about System 2, the attention economy. Every app on your phone was engineered by teams of behavioral psychologists and neuroscientists with one single objective: to capture as many seconds of your consciousness as possible. They call it engagement. But what they mean is addiction. The infinite scroll was not designed for your convenience. It was designed to eliminate the natural stopping point your brain needs. Variable reward. That's the mechanism. The same psychological trigger that makes slot machines irresistible. Pull down, maybe something great appears. Maybe nothing. Your brain cannot stop. Former insiders at Facebook, Twitter, and Google have publicly admitted they built these systems to be as psychologically compelling as possible. This was not an accident. Tristan Harris, who worked inside Google's design team, called it the race to the bottom of the brain stem. They weren't competing for your loyalty. They were competing for your limbic system. And it works. The average American now touches their phone over 2,600 times per day. We are not using these platforms. These platforms are using us. But here's where it gets darker. The attention economy doesn't just steal your time. It shapes what you believe is real. And that connects directly to System 3. System 3 is the algorithmic reality. And this one might be the most dangerous thing we have ever built as a civilization. Right now, the algorithm curating your feed is different from the one curating your neighbor's feed. You are living in different informational universes. You both think yours is real. The algorithm wasn't built to show you truth. It was built to show you what keeps you engaged. Outrage keeps you engaged. Fear keeps you engaged. Tribal identity keeps you engaged. Facebook's own internal research showed that their algorithm amplified content that triggered the strongest emotional reactions. They knew. They continued anyway. What you're experiencing when you feel anxious about the state of the world. Part of that anxiety was manufactured. Not because the world isn't real. But because the version you're seeing was optimized for your outrage. The philosopher Jean Baudrillard warned about this decades before the internet existed. He called it the hyperreal. A simulation so convincing we mistake it for reality. We are now living inside Baudrillard's nightmare. And the companies running it are making billions of dollars from your confusion. And here's what the algorithmic reality does next: it makes you easy to sell to. Which brings us directly to System 4. The desire manufacturing machine. You were not born wanting the things you want. You were trained to want them. This is not a metaphor. This is a multi-trillion-dollar industry. Edward Bernays invented modern advertising in the 1920s. He was Sigmund Freud's nephew. And he applied psychoanalytic theory to mass consumer manipulation. Bernays convinced women to smoke cigarettes by calling them torches of freedom. He tied tobacco to the suffragette movement. Sales exploded. He called it the engineering of consent. Today's version runs at digital speed. Every search you make, every product you linger on, every article you read, it all feeds a behavioral profile that predicts your purchases before you even feel the desire. Amazon reportedly predicts what you will buy before you search for it. This is called anticipatory shipping. They've patented it. Your desires are that predictable. The desire you feel for the next product, the next subscription, the next upgrade, it wasn't born organically inside you. It was seeded, cultivated, and harvested by an industry that knows your psychology better than you do. And none of this operates in isolation. The identity architecture, the attention economy, the algorithmic reality, the desire manufacturing machine, they are connected. They feed each other. Your identity data feeds the algorithm. The algorithm shapes your desires. Your desires are monetized. The revenue funds more advanced behavioral psychology. The cycle accelerates. And now we arrive at the fifth system. The one that makes all the others permanent. The one that ensures you never fully escape. System 5, the Normalization Engine. The Normalization Engine is the most subtle system of all. It doesn't force you into anything. It just makes the alternative feel unthinkable. Why do you feel anxious when you haven't checked your phone in 2 hours? Why does living without a credit score feel genuinely frightening? Why does opting out of social media feel like disappearing? Because the system's trained you to feel that way. Your discomfort with disconnection is not your natural psychology. It was installed. Sociologist Émile Durkheim studied this in the 1890s. He called it social facts. The invisible rules of society that feel natural because everyone follows them and punishes those who don't. Today's social facts are digital. You need a LinkedIn profile to be professionally legitimate. You need a credit history to be financially visible. You need to be searchable to be real. The system doesn't need police to enforce this. It uses social pressure. Exclusion. The quiet terror of being invisible in a world where visibility equals survival. And the normalization engine targets your children first. By the time a 15-year-old has grown up inside these systems, opting out is not just uncomfortable. It is psychologically inconceivable. This is the most elegant form of control ever invented. A cage you build yourself. A cage that feels like freedom because everyone you know is inside it too. So let's step back and look at all 5 together. The identity architecture assigns you a value. The attention economy captures your consciousness. The algorithmic reality shapes what you believe. The desire manufacturing machine tells you what to want. And the normalization engine makes the entire structure feel like nature. Like freedom. Like your own choice. The philosopher Michel Foucault wrote about power that doesn't feel like power. He argued the most effective control systems are the ones that make the controlled feel like they're making free choices. He called it disciplinary power. The panopticon. A prison where the guards don't need to watch because the prisoners have internalized the watching. They police themselves. We are the panopticon now. Except instead of a prison tower, it's a like button. Instead of guards, it's followers. We police ourselves for social acceptance in real time. Now here is the question that should be keeping you up at night. If all 5 of these systems shape what you want, what you believe, and who you think you are, then what is actually you? How much of your political opinion emerged from your own reasoning versus the algorithm that showed you content designed to radicalize your existing beliefs? How much of what you want to buy comes from genuine need versus a behavioral targeting system that identified your psychological vulnerabilities and sent you personalized temptation? How much of your social anxiety is your natural psychology and how much was amplified by a platform designed to make you feel perpetually inadequate so you return for more validation? These are not rhetorical questions. Researchers at Stanford, MIT, and Oxford have published studies documenting all of these effects in measurable clinical detail. The data is there. But knowing about these systems does not automatically free you from them. Knowledge is the first step, not the whole journey. The most powerful thing awareness gives you is the ability to pause between stimulus and response. To ask, is this thought mine, or was it placed here? Viktor Frankl, Holocaust survivor and psychologist, wrote that between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is our power to choose. In our choice lies our growth and freedom. The systems we just described are designed to eliminate that space. To make the response instantaneous, automatic, unconscious. Your awareness is what protects it. The people who built these systems understand that most people will watch a documentary like this, feel disturbed for 48 hours, and then return to the default behavior. They have modeled this. So the real question is not whether you understand what's happening to you. The real question is whether that understanding is enough to change the behavior these systems have made deeply comfortable. The answer, for most people, is no. And that's not weakness. That is the design working exactly as intended. These systems were built for permanence. But here is what the systems cannot fully control. The moment between reading this sentence and deciding what to do next. That moment still belongs to you. The systems are real. The control is real. But so is the observer watching those systems operate inside you. That observer, that awareness, is where everything starts. If this made you see something you couldn't unsee, that's the point. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. And we'll see you in the next one.